I guess to wrap up today, because this is going to be a bit of a long one. I don't know how much of it we're going to watch, but Peter Hanna, conspiracy theorist, election denier, etc., etc., did a live stream recently, his first live stream, entitled Financial Collapse Imminent, sorry. So let's see what he had to say. Nico Atsume98 says, "Hey Hannah, love your channel. This is my first live. Also, please do voice acting. You've been really good at it." Oh, I definitely couldn't do voice acting, but I appreciate the thought.
Thanks for joining me this Sunday. I have a lot of very interesting stuff to share with you guys. Like, for example, I have this very interesting article that's basically saying that 78% of US dollars have been created in the last 12 months. As you can see here, this is alarming, and inflation is going up.
Oh, he's going to talk about inflation too, which is really funny considering during the last 12 months, a majority of those months, Donald Trump was president, and Peter's, he wants Trump to basically be an emperor. He thinks Trump might even still be in charge because he's like a Q guy. So how is he going to deal with that, considering a lot of this inflation that's probably going to happen and is probably happening is due to the fact that we've printed so much currency during the last 12 months in order to try and stave off economic disaster due to COVID and all the businesses having to be closed and people not having to work, etc., etc. I'm using etc., etc. a lot today. And Donald Trump was in power for most of it. So I'm curious how he's going to justify that. He's very loud compared to me. Okay.
And yeah, I'm pretty concerned about this. I think it is part of the plan, but I also think that we should definitely be preparing. Hi, Zora.
Peter, you don't even have a real job as far as I know. Why are you concerned about inflation? You live with your parents.
How you doing? Thanks for saying hi.
Old hippie gal and Danny does 133. Thanks for following.
It to my attention, and like something I'm wondering is like how you guys are preparing. Have you guys heard about this at all? Thank you, all 14 people who decided to join me this Sunday afternoon. I know I kind of announced this last minute, but maybe I'll invite Clint. Yeah, it'd be fun to have you on here, Clint. That'd be cool. Clint's someone who's been very supportive. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can find a way to send you a link. But basically, I wanted to make this whole stream because it was brought to my attention by my dad that basically
his dad, who is a member, and Peter is too, of that, oh gosh, what do they call themselves? This church that does the gun stuff, they're the church where they wear the crowns, and the pastor is called like an emperor or a king or something, and they all carry their guns to church. These guys. This is Peter's church, and his dad works for the church. No, see, they're not technically Moonies. The parent organization that this spun off of was the Moonies, but they are not Moonies, and they don't like to be called that. They're technically a different thing.
Things are looking pretty scary right now, and I mean, we're in for a huge financial.
Sky Comet Fallen, thanks for the $1. And one Chubba Hubba with 100 bits says, Peter reminds me of Hank Koala crying over his lost tree. He just doesn't understand what went wrong. Who's Hank Koala?
Financial collapse, like
Sanctuary Church, that's what it's called. Thank you.
The dollar is crashing. There's a reason Bitcoin's $70 right now. And so this is extremely concerning. I'm wondering how you guys preparing. Can you guys let me know in the comments how you're preparing? All right, Clint, if you're listening, I'm sending you a link through email right now to come join me on StreamYard. Come join me, Clint. I sent you a link. You're welcome to join at any point. Janelle says, now the CDC says kids should still wear masks until vaccinated. Yeah, thanks for joining, Janelle. I appreciate your comments. Yeah, this is unfortunate. The CDC is getting sued right now by many people. There's certain topics I'm not really allowed to talk about in the stream because I'm hoping to monetize it at some point. But hi, Cherry. How's it going? Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I don't think people, at least Democrats, believe in this inflation and collapse. Well, I think I didn't even believe it was really going to happen this year either. But then I saw this, and it's crazy. It's like, it's hard to even believe that 70% of U.S. dollars were created in the last 12 months. And then you go further down in the article, it says something scarier. When you invert the chart like this, the U.S. dollar went down by 78% in about 12 months.
Hydrate.
It's like, look, this is not my area of expertise, but I do know the U.S. dollar goes down by 78% in 12 months, and Bitcoin goes up.
But the value of the U.S. dollar has not gone down that much in that many months. Like, I don't think it directly correlates one-to-one like that. I think that's misleading, to say the least.
By 600% in 14 months, I do know that alarm will start ringing in my head, and I'm like, oh gosh, dollar is in collapse mode. And I think it was by design. I think the dollar was supposed to collapse under a Biden presidency. He's like the fall guy. So,
okay, but Peter, if he was the fall guy, then who would actually be responsible, right? Because you believe President Trump is still in charge, at least in some way, and he was actually in charge while much of this was happening under COVID. So if Biden's the fall guy, air quote, then that would put the blame on Donald Trump, right? At least within your internal logic here. Towing24 says the inflation crisis is as real as the oil shortage last week. This fear-mongering is as stupid as the people filling Walmart bags with gasoline. Are you telling me that I can't put gasoline in flimsy bags that can barely hold a pack of gum half the time? I don't believe you.
Part of the plan. There's a new quantum financial system that will replace this system, and it'll be backed by gold and silver. That's why, the best
looks like you're
right
subscribed,
now is...
Danny Does. Oh my god, Danny Does. Your picture is of Clyde Cash.
is like...
Who's responsible for this? Trump, probably.
gold and silver. I don't have money to invest. There's Clint.
What's a quantum financial system? It's a word that Peter heard somewhere because it had the word quantum in it. He thought it was cool.
All right, let's see if... Hey, Clint, you want to speak? See if I can hear you.
How you doing, Peter?
Hey, Clint, thanks for joining me on the stream.
No problem, Peter. I'm glad you had me.
Yeah, you're a big supporter, so it's great to have you here. Have you heard of this whole inflation thing at all?
Your Clyde
Clint,
Cash?
No? Yeah, I heard a little.
Clyde Cash. If I remember my Christery, well, Clyde Cash ended his own life. Wait, no. Didn't it get revealed that that was a trick or something? I don't remember.
A little bit about it, but I don't know if it's too concerning because I know that stuff, I don't know, the cryptocurrency or that Bitcoin stuff and how the gold stuff is going to kind of do a little bit, and then about the inflation stuff. I'm just trying to keep an eye on it to know more about it is what I'm really trying to do.
Yeah, I was concerned because my dad, he was like, Peter, inflation's gone up 10% a month. And I was like, what? That's impossible. So I looked it up, and he wasn't necessarily, he was wrong in some sense, but also right in other sense. What was it? This article that basically said that, let's see if I can full screen it here. This article basically said that one of the ways that they measure inflation is through used car and truck prices, and in April it increased by 10%.
So by a single metric of used car sales, he was right, but by the rest of the metrics he was wrong. meaning he was wrong. Towing24 says over under a week before Peter joins the gold MLM that Candace Owens is currently shilling with CBD MLM he's already in. Oh, God. I hope not. I don't want his family to starve.
I think that's where he got that number. But it's definitely pretty scary because I mean, they use car and truck prices to track inflation. It's not like the official inflation rate. I think the official inflation rate is 4.2%. Over a year, but I feel like it's just gonna keep going up, and I think like with all this printing, it's just not gonna end well. And you know, if I had a ton of money, I'd be like, all right, I'm buying gold and silver, and I'll ride the wave, and I'll be rich. But I have no money to invest whatsoever, so I'm more in like survive the financial dollar collapse mode.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know much about
Honestly, Peter, inflation could be good for you. Peter, you're like $60-something thousand in debt. If the dollar loses a ton of value, you're golden. Your debt's gonna get cut in half immediately.
this stuff, but I do know that Zero Hedge is a very, very trustworthy website. And I'm concerned when it says 70% of US dollars were created in the last 12 months. Like this graph tells me, like I already knew that the economy was very unstable. And then this graph just made me think like, oh my gosh, I think I gotta prepare, like take any money I have in dollars, just take it out and just do something with it because it's gonna be worth so much less. Have you thought of preparing in any way, Clint, or has this been brought to your attention yet?
Well, for a while, people have been kind of talking about it, and I mean, I'm not really bad with money, and I do have money. It's just right now, I'm kind of waiting for these people that are helping me get a job.
Nico with
and
Sume98,
helping
thanks for
finances.
following.
I'm just waiting for them to like send me a debit card and helping me like from MRS because I live in Michigan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for them to get done with the paperwork. So
MRS, what's that? Michigan Rehabilitation Services, statewide network of vocational rehabilitation professionals. Is this what he's talking about, or is it a different thing? Services to assist people with disabilities or to obtain or maintain employment. Okay. So he's like getting some sort of help finding a job. Cool.
I understand.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a little crazy right now with were you affected by the coronavirus pandemic and the economic crash that ensued, or were you not really affected? Like, did you lose a job or something?
No, not really. I'm still kind of staying with my dad for right now because
For sure.
Again, I don't mean... Look, there's nothing wrong with living with family members. I understand that the economy is really hard. Life is fucked right now. I'm not judging anyone for living with their parents. I'm really, really not. I just find it so funny that Peter, who has 2 kids, a third on the way, is married, doesn't have a real job, does QAnon conspiracies for a living, as well as being part of a multi-level marketing scheme, and this guy, who I guess also lives with his dad, are on stream pretending to be experts, talking about the economy and the impact of the COVID situation on inflation and unemployment, when neither of them have jobs or mortgages. It's just weird, right? Isn't it weird? Towing24 says people are talking about it, aka the media can't find anything to really shit on Biden without having to notice Trump was a billion times worse, so we have to make shit up.
I'm just kind of waiting for my good job, and after they help me with like Social Security stuff, and I might find a place to live with their help too. And
boy, it's almost like Trump didn't help either of you. Weird.
By the way, pretty soon me and my girlfriend Amy are going to be living together because she's almost done with graduation.
Oh
And
wow,
me
that's
and her might
exciting.
make a video if you want to check that out, buddy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's like honestly, I'm kind of like unemployed right now. I'm
Hmm.
just working on this business. I mean, this YouTube business was making for 1 month, it was making enough money to like support my family, and then the next month, YouTube struck all these reports. I would get these comments. They're like, "I'm reporting all your videos and your channel to YouTube." I'm like, I'm not even breaking any rules, but a lot of people were reporting.
You are, Peter. It is against YouTube TOS to make claims of election fraud. They have said this. Kirthan with 100 bits says, oh, in case people haven't heard, the FCC just introduced a new program that will pay for up to $50 of your internet bill if you qualify. I suggest looking into it if anyone needs it. Good to know. Thank you.
So then YouTube just shut down that big channel. But if I had kept it up, I would have been able to do that as a job. Now I'm kind of like hanging by a thread here. But it's this business has gone back into hobby mode. It's kind of like a hobby. I think
Hmm.
it costs a little bit more money to run than I'm making right now. But it's fun because I meet cool people like you, Clint, who you've been.
It costs more to run than it does than you're making? What costs does he have? Like, okay, I have certain costs for my stream, I suppose. I pay for Streamlabs Premium. Is that it? Is that my only real cost? I, of course, had the initial buy-in of the computer to stream, and, like, eventually I got, like, a better camera and stuff, but I don't know. Feels like Peter's... Where is he spending money every month? Internet, I guess. He lives at his parents' house, though, so I guess I assumed, you know, they just had internet anyway.
Been very supportive um and a lot of I feel like there are a lot of very smart people. Alexander says gold and silver would be a horrible investment now. I'd like to know why you think that, because
Hmm.
from what I hear, the new I think the financial collapse of the dollar is supposed to happen, and then there's going to be a replacement of this dollar system with a blockchain based quantum financial system that has a set amount of money.
Again, he's just pulling buzzwords. Quantum based, bit whatever,
And it's
blockchain.
backed by gold and silver. And I hear this from everywhere. So then it makes me think like, if I had money, I take it out. I wouldn't put in the stock market or even cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or anything. I just maybe a safe bet is gold and silver, and maybe land. I mean, if things, if the crap hits the fan, as they say, you probably want to have some resources for barter and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm kind of like in prepping mode because my community is very much like worried about stuff like this. What do you think, Clint? If the dollar's collapsing, where would you put money if you had a bunch of money?
Well, if the Dow
What's with foolish people in gold and silver? It's shiny! Because clearly, when everyone's starving, they're going to care about gold and not whether or not you can trade food with them.
dollar collapses and it's not going to be worth much, maybe I would invest in silver and gold, or if they're going to start using cryptocurrency as the new currency for us, then
You know how I know cryptocurrency isn't going to become the new currency anytime soon? Old people still don't know how to use the self-checkout, and they've been around for like 15 or 20 years. And you think you're going to teach old people how to use cryptocurrency? Good luck.
I might want to do more research on it first to get a better understanding, and then I'd see where it goes from there, just so I'd know more about it and then be prepared better.
That makes sense. Janelle says a lot of us don't have money to buy gold and silver, especially since COVID. I know how you feel, Janelle. Like I don't have money to put into gold and silver or anything like that either. But I am like putting aside a little bit of money to prepare for like if something were to happen, like I have some barter, like whether it be bullets or seeds or, you know, just like stocking up on like a couple months of food. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but let's see. Alexander says it's a bad investment. Buy gold and silver when the price is low. When market is good. Sell when market panics and people start buying gold. I mean, I feel like gold and silver prices are very high right now, Alexander. I understand.
I don't know what they're at. Let's look. Gold price. What's Peter's weed budget? That's a good question. Gold prices are relatively high, not as high as they were last year. Silver's actually not very high. It was higher in like 2012. Interesting.
Understand that buying right now when it's high doesn't make much sense, but I think that gold and silver prices are going to go higher. And my dad, who watches the market, he says that.
Again, look, I'm not trying to shit talk Peter or the fact that he lives with his parents. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But if you're in a serious financial discussion about investments and like the idea that the economy is going to collapse and what you should get assets, what you should, you know, buy in terms of assets that you could use to retain value over like the collapse of an economic system, and your citation is my dad says, you're probably not mature enough to be having this conversation. Like, why is your dad qualified to be speaking on this, Peter? Why do you think your dad's an authority here? Towing24 says, I think the real reason is no corporation wants to spend the time money actually having to hire people to convert to paying people in crypto. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I think crypto's kind of BS, but, you know.
He says that the prices are
It's like Billy. No, what's the water boy where he's like, well, my mama says that alligators have all them teeth because they're so they're ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Like, just because your parent says it doesn't mean it's true.
manipulated. Like if it says like silver's like 25 an ounce, but then like if you try to buy it from these people that sell it, they sell it to you for like $36 or $40 an ounce, in some cases even $50 an ounce if you actually want to have physical silver. So it's like, is it $25 or is it $50?
Oh my god, Peter, that's how the market works. The price is determined as an average of all sales. It's not, oh my god, Peter, oh my god. If gold is $100, I know this isn't accurate, I'm just trying to simplify it. If gold is $100 an ounce right now, and you go and try and buy some gold from someone, depending on local market factors and a whole variety of other things in terms of that person's operating costs and stuff, they might not sell that to you for exactly $100. They might sell it for more so they can make a profit, or if they have a surplus, then they might sell it a little bit of a loss just to get through the inventory. Or they might have enough that they can afford to, in bulk, sell them a little cheaper to make a profit while moving all that inventory at once. And prices get determined by the market in this way. Like, how do you think the value of gold is set, Peter? If it's always exactly the price it says it is, then the price would never move.
Because you can buy and sell, you know, silver, but not have any possession for $25. But you want to have possession, they'll charge you up to $50. So I think that the prices are definitely being manipulated. I kind of agree that land is a very safe bet.
Peter, if the economy collapses and you buy land, let's even say in this case, you said when stuff hits the fan, which is usually like a doomsday prepper phrase of like, the government's going to collapse and it's going to be complete anarchy. Peter, in your case, you might actually get to defend the land because of the number of guns you probably have in your household because of your religious sect that has a huge thing about guns. But then why even buy it? Like, just take land with guns, and then you have it, because it's the apocalypse. Or just find empty land somewhere and defend it, and then it's your land. your pre-collapse deed of this land is going to be worthless if there's no government to uphold your claim to the land.
Yeah, I think my top three are like gold, silver, and land. Again, I don't have money to invest in land. I know a lot of people don't. But
you don't have money to invest in a Subway sandwich. Of course you don't have money to invest in land.
It is definitely a pretty safe bet. Janelle says they have been saying gold and silver for years. Yeah, luckily, my parents invested in a little bit of gold and silver for the retirement. I recommended they had like money in stocks. I was like, get it all out of stocks. Is stocks not trustworthy? Just put in gold and silver, and things worked out. But silver and gold have gone up a lot recently. Like if people put in money like a year ago, they probably got like 40%. Not like Bitcoin, which has gone up from like 10, like it went from like 5,000 to like 60,000 real quick. This Alexander says this new currency or total crash is nonsense. You know, I'm an optimist, so I would like to believe that the whole crash is nonsense and nothing's gonna happen. But this graph does not lie. Like
I'm gonna start skipping ahead just because holy shit, Peter.
Like, hey, it's crashing, buy gold. So many people have been saying that, but now I'm like, hey, I think they're right. Alexander says that's not incorrect, bubble. Sorry, by the way. That's not incorrect. So that is correct, bubble. Zora says, that's why I'm glad we're getting that QFS because it's been...
Sky Comet Fallen says, you don't have money to invest in anything. You can't even afford your own place. I mean, I can't either, but at least I'm self-aware, right? Peter tries to... I think Peter's embarrassed by his situation, which is why he's vague about it, but he still wants to have an air of authority that he doesn't really have.
this collapse thing, like, because my dad follows the market very...
My dad follows the market. Thanks for the information, Daddy. I'm gonna go and do my YouTube show now. Okay, son. Have a good time.
Closely, and he's very, very concerned. My whole community, we're like a prepping church. We're very, very, very concerned with how the dollar is, how the economy is, what's going on with Joe Biden. Well, they're concerned with Joe Biden. I'm optimistic. I think this is all part of the plan. Clint, you've been watching my videos. Do you think my arguments of how something's going to happen soon because of what General Flynn and Linwood and Trump and all these people are saying, you think something's going to happen this year based on the what you've seen in my videos?
Good night, Daddy Sume. Thanks for coming to the stream.
Absolutely.
Great. Because sometimes, you know, I wonder if I'm getting my point across because, like, I really do believe something's going to happen very soon. Yeah. I think it's just a matter of time. They are panicking badly. I agree, Zora. Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, some of my viewers are Charlie Ward and Simon Parks supporters. So then when I say that, like, people get angry at me. But I'm like, I'm not trying to do a popularity contest. I'm just going to tell you what I think is the truth. But when I attack people or ideas righteously, like say Charlie Ward, Sam Parks are scammers, or say like Earth is not flat, like some people get very angry.
I like the idea of people who are fans of Peter, but they get mad that he doesn't think the Earth is flat. Peter, you're so great, but why don't you understand NASA's lying?
Yeah, a lot of comments. People are like, how dare you attack these people? They have high integrity. I'm like, no, I don't think so. But I got a lot of flack for saying, I don't think the Earth is flat. Like, I got a lot of comments from flat Earth people who are like, it is flat, Peter. You're ignorant. I can't believe it. And I'm like, all right, I'll look into it. But
the irony of Peter and this guy laughing at flat earthers while advocating for QAnon sense is so frustrating.
The Silver Wolf says they paid in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is part of human trafficking. At this point, is sparing all the money they got paid. Yeah.
Does Peter think we're panicking? Yes. QAnon places like Great Awakening and other very far right things, if you go and visit them, they're like, the left is panicking right now. Not really. I'm good.
I have a relative who's got a lot of money in Bitcoin, and I do think Bitcoin is up because of human trafficking and other stuff like that, and illegal activity. Backtracking, like, oh, they were actually over 18, and see like a blank image and hear audio, where it's
Fly
just
West
audio.
Joe. Have a good night.
But I like to see video. I like to see people. I like to see graphs and information. I don't like when I hear information just auditorily, I tend to forget it. But if I see it, I'm a visual learner. What about you, Clint? Are you more of an auditory learner or a visual learner?
Well, that's kind of tough for me to decide because
I guess I'd have to learn something before I figured out how I best learn.
Yeah, but if you bring it up, like 1 in 50 messages, like about flat Earth, you bring it up to be like, hey, he'll ask the question like, is the Earth, round or flat? Or he'll say like, can you explain this thing? And then he's kind of like bringing on a flat Earth argument, and then he brings up the documentary Level the film. Let me show that to you guys. Level the film, flat Earth documentary.
We probably have to go over Level at some point too, but it's like an hour long, so I've been putting it off. Towing24 says, what do they think we're panicking about? Well, besides Israel committing genocide, I think they think Biden's doing a bad job, so they assume we think that too. And I mean, there are things I disagree with Biden on, but, on the whole, he's been pretty good. The Israel thing is fucking redonkulous, though.
how can the Earth be flat?
Yeah, it's just like,
how can the Earth be flat? Let's get back to talking about reasonable things, like demonic cabals of Satan worshippers eating children.
I would play it too, but then I would get a copyright strike. But yeah, it's a flat Earth documentary. Supposedly it was going to come out on Prime Video, which I have Amazon Prime, so I was going to watch it. I was like, oh, it's free. But then it didn't, and now it's like $5 to watch it. So I was going to watch it just for fun.
I think it's free on YouTube. Let me check. Unless they took it off, but it was on YouTube. Oh, maybe ODD TV removed it. Let me look. ODD TV. No, it's on here. It's an hour long. Still want to cover it someday, but, it'll take basically all of a Tinfoil Tuesday to cover, so. Blackwing Hecate says, how can the Earth be flat if her eyes aren't real? Thanks, Jaden.
Like, all right, let me hear all of the flat Earth arguments, like, just for fun. Like, me and my wife were going to rip it apart. But then it's like, oh, it's not on Amazon Prime. You have to spend $30.
Honestly, thank God, because Peter is so gullible if he watches that documentary, even though it's full of, I say documentary. If he watches that propaganda piece of shit about the flat Earth, he will absolutely think it's real, because he has no critical thinking skills. So he'll just absorb the arguments without having the ability to combat them. It's gonna be bad.
Spend like $5 watching it. I was like, I'm not going to fund the flat Earth movement. Plus, there's like a rated R version and a PG version. I'm like, how can you make a flat Earth documentary rated R? Like, what is in it? It's like nudity, language, drugs. I was like, I thought this is about the flat Earth. Oh my gosh. Ghost Ezra's excellent, says the Silver Wolves. I like Ghost Ezra. Honestly, I get a lot of content from Ghost Ezra. But, yeah, exactly. He says the Earth is flat. He seems to imply it over and over and over again. Vladimir says, Peter, the way you're looking for Trump to be in power still is weird. I think Trump still has power because it's been implied over and over again. You have like General Flynn. They asked, I want to have the video somewhere. But basically asked General Flynn, like, should I be worried? This is like a foreigner. And he's like, no, the Patriots are in control. They're saving everyone on Earth. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. Like, why would he say something like that if the military was not backing Trump?
Because he's a grifter.
And then you have Mike Lindell saying, the country's about to be unified under God. And then you have Trump saying our brightest days are just ahead. Great things are happening.
That was something Donald Trump said in one line in one speech months ago, and Peter is still obsessed with it. He said our greatest days are just ahead. He said our greatest days are just ahead. He said our greatest days are just ahead. Calm down, Peter. It's a platitude.
Winning. Everything's going well.
How does he still believe Mike Lindell? I have no idea. How's Frank's speech coming along? Still gotta put in a phone number, huh? That's a shame.
Oh, don't worry. Literally, he's saying all those things. And then, let's see what else. You have Linwood, who are saying that... Linwood, he's made the boldest remark. Linwood recently, he said that if you think... Oh, I'm not sure I can talk about on YouTube. But basically, he said, don't count Trump out. That things are going according to plan. I'm summarizing it because I can't say exactly what he said. But basically said that if you think Trump and the military are just going to let the bad guys get away with everything like they are, and that they didn't set traps and things aren't going according to plan, then you're underestimating how intelligent Trump and the military are. They're super intelligent. You know, they did set up traps. Everything is going according to plan. And that's kind of how I felt all along. Even when Biden was inaugurated, I was like, I really think that things are still going according to plan, because Trump is way too smart. Like, he loves chess. He loves the art of war.
I want to see Donald Trump play chess against literally anyone. Bellum Guardian of 50 Bits says, the fact that he unironically uses the phrase bad guys here does a lot to speak to how childish his level of thinking is. Yeah. It's the same with a lot of QAnon believers. They can't handle how complicated and gray some areas of reality are, most areas, in fact, and therefore he defaults to simplifying this down to good guys, bad guys. There are good guys and bad guys. There are wonderful, amazing, perfect people, and there are awful, demonic, satanic, evil people who only do terrible things and eat children. It's a very childish way of looking at the world.
Something, but he's a brilliant strategist. I heard there's like hundreds, and it makes sense, at least hundreds of people strategizing for Trump, and they've been planning this for decades. So it's not like he's like, oops,
I heard it, guys, and they've been planning for decades. So in between tapings of The Apprentice, he would meet with these hundreds of advisors, and they'll be like, okay, we're gonna get you elected in 2016, and it's gonna be shit. You're gonna get a lot of people killed because of a failed COVID response. And he goes, cool.
I stumbled. Oh no, we're all gonna die now. I don't think that's what's happening. I think things are going well according to plan. I'm gonna stick around for 5 more minutes. If you guys have any questions in the comments section, let me know. I'm happy to answer. This is a good time to answer questions. Can you get Hannah Reloaded on the live stream? I can. She loves making fun of my content.
True.
Oh, Hannah, I had to block all her trolls because my comment section became like a bunch of negative stuff.
Hey, I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one harass Peter. This is not about that. This is about debunking his claims, not bugging him with any of this shit. Leave him alone.
This is her YouTube channel. She likes to make fun of me. Peter gets uncensored. His conspiracies. Look at this.
I'll give you this. He's gendering me correctly, which I appreciate. Thanks, Peter.
Peter gets uncensored. I'm not sure what she's talking about, but she likes to make videos of me. And here's another one and another one. Honestly, she's kind of funny, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, I feel a little sorry for her because she's going to get a rude awakening when everything comes out, and she realize how brainwashed she is, and she's going to be like, wow, I fell for all the traps. I thought that something was... Debate. Yeah, like she thinks the Bidens are classy and Trump is trashy. And...
I mean, on a very surface level, yes. That doesn't mean I always agree with Joe Biden. But if we're talking about, like, surface level respectability, yeah.
Trump, you know, they're evil and that
Oh
she just
yeah.
thinks I'm nuts. But I think that when it turns out that what I'm saying is correct, she's gonna be like, oh my gosh, wow. Then I'm gonna go to her YouTube channel and see her reaction to everything that's gonna happen in the next few months is gonna just
Next few months, yes.
destroy her worldview. So I'm gonna be paying attention close to Hannah Reloaded, who makes fun of people like me, and I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. So I'd like to see, as things get proven that I am correct, I'd like to see her reaction. She's like, be like, well, I thought Peter was wrong and made fun of him, but now it seems like he's right. Let's see.
Peter, does that mean if over the next couple months nothing happens because nothing is going to happen because you're wrong about all this QAnon stuff, does that mean you'll finally admit that you've been wrong this entire time? Just curious.
Thank you, Janelle. I appreciate it. Oh, interesting. Trump's bloodline is Slovenian, same as Nikola Tesla. I like Peter and Hannah both. I thought that was a really good conversation.
Who is that person? What? Towing24 says Peter better be prepping that bullet crown to pay off that bet you guys made, right?
It was, but I just want to be clear. Like, I went to that. If you guys watched the debate I had with her, I went to that debate purposely wanting to lose. I was completely unprepared.
Oh, now he went. He went into the debate wanting to lose, guys. That's why he did so badly. Even though he was shit-talking me before the discussion and was like, don't chicken out on me. Fair enough, Peter. Whatever you say.
My goal was just to get down a video to befriend her, and because she put out a video saying that I was, you know, a violent person who had guns. They wanted to kill millions of people.
That is not what I said, Peter. I said the fantasies that you have and the QAnon rhetoric in general is inherently violent because it calls for the execution and arrest of your political enemies, which is true.
And that it was no joke. Like, I generally wanted to kill a lot of people and stuff like that. And that's not true. So I had, you know, I could destroy her in a debate or like name call her and then she'll say more of this stuff. Or I could lose the debate and just like get destroyed. And then I sent her email with a bunch of compliments. I said, wow, you beat me in debate. You're so smart. You're amazing. By the way, it's not safe for me to keep posting videos when you're telling people that I'm going to hurt people because I'm getting death threats. Please take that video down. And because we're friends, she took down the video. Honestly, I kind of consider her my friend.
Thanks, Peter.
But not like a close friend. Like we're acquaintances, but she took down the video, and I do plan on debating her again. And this time, next time, I'm not going to be so easy on her. Much love, Peter. Thank you. Yeah, she said that about me. She said her specific words are, although Peter seems very kind and optimistic and gentle person, he wants to kill you. He wants to kill everyone left of Donald Trump. Get it in your heads, people. This is no joke. He wants to kill all of you. That's what he said. That's what she wants to call it. That's what she said. She's like, basically that I'm not kind. I want to hurt a bunch of people.
Correct, because you want Donald Trump to become a dictator, and in order to do that, you would have to kill millions of people. Felix Night Owl says, I've always wanted to be a bad guy, wink wink, all those years playing the trombone, collecting action figures, and being an anime weeb, but now that I'm a lefty, finally I'm a bad boy.
And so she took down that video. Yeah, I prefer to just be your friends. Thank you, Silver Wolves. You too. Take care, man. Yeah.
Did he ever actually show evidence? Also, you should have never taken down that video. I don't know why you assumed he has the money or balls to sue you. It wasn't a sue thing. He claimed to me that if I didn't take it down, his girlfriend or wife, sorry, his wife, was not going to let him make videos anymore, and I really wanted more Peter content to cover, so I was like, okay, I'll sacrifice that video for more videos to watch in the future. He may have been lying, which would be funny, but it's one video. It's not a big deal. I also downloaded it if I want to re-upload it, which I might.
Yeah, it's pretty awful that she said that, but then again, I gave her a lot of bait to say that because I'm in a gun cult. And looks
Yes.
like you froze there, Clint. I'm in a gun cult, and also, you know, I'm a conservative. I'm on the right, so I'm a gun owner. It's very easy to label me as like an extremist, horrible person. But yeah, you can choose your friends, but not your enemies. Anyway, I'm kind of friends with her now, and we actually need more conversations across.
Again, with the sort of, how do I put this? I'm really, really not trying to be mean here. The sort of immature worldview, like, it can't just be that we have different opinions and we are having a discussion over a topic. We either have to be enemies or we have to be friends. Like, he has to couch these things in very black and white terms as opposed to what it is, which is more like, we both do this as either for me a business or him a hobby, and we want to talk about these topics or whatever. I don't know. It's very interesting that he has to very, like, okay, friend or enemy, good, bad. It can't just be something a little more subtle or complicated than that. It's very strange.
Difference. It's good. Yeah, it's good. I'm okay that I did pretty bad, and I look forward to debating her soon.
Right on.
If you guys have any more questions, Trump never read the of War. He read The Art of War. He references it all the time by like Sue something, The Art of War. That's his favorite book. Look it up. Trump's favorite book.
By Sue something. Morok Ben Eoth says, dang, my therapy made me miss Peter BS. Also, I gave my notice at Tesla and they fired me. I'm shocked, I tell you. Shocked.
Is The Art of War because he's all about strategy. If you guys have any more questions, I can answer one more question, and then I'm gonna.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at the Sue something. Tea with Goblins, you're not an extremist because you're a conservative gun owner, Peter. You're an extremist because you believe that Trump is a god emperor and vaccines cause contagious miscarriage. Yep.
Head out
He's
here.
crazy.
Oh, there. Clint's back. Thanks for joining me, Clint, on the stream.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. It's great having you here, man.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, I
guys.
look
Mike
forward to
Lindell,
that.
Credible. What, Clint?
Well, I just look forward.
The Sue thing bothers me on multiple levels. Okay. It's one thing not to know that Sun Tzu wrote The Art of War. That's fine. Not everyone's going to know that. But the fact that he doesn't even know enough about the art of war to know where it comes from in the world and understand that someone named Sue is not going to write The Art of War, which is like an Eastern text. It's just multiple levels of ignorance operating at the same time. You know what I mean? Higo Menta, thank you for following.
To like with everything General Flynn, Mike Lindell, Sidney Powell.
I know, right?
and
All that
Lynn.
stuff. Soon. Should be
Yeah.
less than a month.
Like, I think I have... Hold on, I'll go grab it. Like, if you know anything about the art of war, you know that it's like an Eastern text. And I have this edition, which is the main thing on the cover is the art of war, but it's and other Eastern classics of Eastern thought. So it's the art of war, Confucian, Analects, the Great Learning, etc., etc. You get it. The art of war is not that long. The point here is, if you look at this, like, there's a fucking dragon on it, you know what I mean? Like, when you think of the art of war, It's not hard to figure out that someone named Sue, as in the American name Sue or English name Sue, shouldn't be hard. Logarth says, also, The Art of War is a philosophy book about war, not a book about actual military tactics. It's about the philosophy of military tactics, like, don't interrupt your enemy while they're making a mistake. Stuff like that. It's about general truisms about fighting against other people. Like, for instance, like some of it comes in the form of, like, lists like this, where it's almost like verses from the Bible, if I can make a, bring war material with you from home, but forage on the enemy, thus the army will have food enough for its needs. Like, that's like a basic thing you would think. You need to have stuff, but you also need to take stuff from your enemy. In order to kill the enemy, our men must be roused to anger. That there may be advantage from defeating the enemy, they must have their rewards. It's just about the philosophy of fighting a war.
Let's see. Mike Lindell is credible. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mike Lindell is not credible. He's a failed pillow salesman.
Trump calls up Mike Lindell. They have a relationship. Mike Lindell, he's risking his whole business because right now they're suing his business. He could lose everything he owns fighting for the country and for Trump. People like that are definitely credible.
Wouldn't that be funny if he actually did?
Credible, for sure. That feeds into less ideas about us. Yeah, I know, it does. So I've decided...
What feeds into the left's ideas about right-wing violence is the continued right-wing violence and threats of violence from communities like QAnon. Felix Night Owl with 20 bits says, I hate talking about books. The last book I read was The Chronicles of Narnia in, like, the 7th grade. I know. Bring on the shame. Have you tried audiobooks? Audiobooks help me. Although hopefully I'm getting ADHD meds soon, which might help.
Not to put my,
I have trouble focusing on, like, just pages and like, if I'm looking at this page, my eyes just get tired almost immediately. I find it hard to stay on track, so audiobooks help me.
Church emblem with my gun symbol or my gun hoodie anymore, and I just took all the church stuff because I'm
legit really sad in that. I don't know if this is sad, I guess, but I'll buy a book like this because I love books on the shelf, especially like a leather-bound book. I think they're beautiful. I really do, and I love having them. So I'll buy this physically, and then I'll get the audiobook, and I'll listen to it, but I like having the book. Does that make sense? I'm a big collector of physical media. I own, like, almost 400 Blu-rays or something at this point, and I own a lot of books like this, where I'll get one that's, like, a really nice... I like how it looks on the shelf, and then I'll listen to it. I don't know. It's a dumb problem to have, but there it is. Mike Mack says, why put your faith in a guy that has multiple bankruptcies? How in the hell do you bankrupt a casino? With a lot of hard work. Kirthan says, sometimes I buy a physical book and an audiobook and read along. Yeah.
Be labeled as that violent guy. I prefer to be labeled as like some hippie stoner or something versus like violent extremist gun cult wacko.
I mean, you are in a gun cult, and you do believe in the Q stuff, so...
I agree. My impression that many people on the right are extremely dedicated to violence. I see. After the Frank's feast flop, really, he claimed to invest millions. Yeah, one thing I just want to point out before I go is I am a little disappointed. I love Mike Lindell pieces. I think he's saving the country. I have a lot of respect for him. But I'm very disappointed that after like several delays and several launches, I still can't post videos on his website. Like,
it's almost like he's grifting you. Learn a lesson, Peter. Internalize this information.
10 people are allowed to post videos on his website, and he chooses which videos are even public, period. So it's not really a social media platform like he promised yet, and that's disappointing.
I love the yet. He has so much hope for no reason yet, as if it's going to happen.
I was basing all my business on...
Why not do a stream of going through your DVD collection? I don't have a camera that I can like, move around with, like, I guess I could use my phone, but then it would be terrible, and I don't think I could, like, it'd be cool if I could, like, use my phone as a specific camera and connect it to my Twitch and use that, but then come back to the desktop. I don't know. I guess I could take videos of it and then just show you the videos, but that's not fun.
Off of posting videos there, and now I can't, so I'm having to just adapt. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, Clint. Appreciate it. Any more questions? Hannah says she didn't like Biden. She said he's just a better choice than Trump. Yeah, I think a lot of people were Bernie bros. I think if people actually had to choose, I think a lot of people on the left would have chosen Bernie instead. You wanted to lose. She debunked all your claims.
I like that there's just random people in his chat that, like, are going to bat for me. That's so funny.
She made
Thank you, people who did that, I guess. I appreciate that.
some excellent points. I'll give you that. Hannah made some excellent points. I would say she may have debunked a few of my claims. That is true. I give her that. But I went into this debate with no intention of beating her at all, or like arguing or winning. My only intention was to bring up. I brought it up during the debate. I brought up, like, you said I'm a murderer and I've actually used cannabis to save lives of many Democrats and stuff like that. I was like, you say I'm a violent person.
Peter, you did not cure anyone's cancer like you think you have. I'm sorry.
That when I have to choose what is a higher priority, getting a video down that's getting me death threats and my family death threats, and I'm getting emails of people like, I know where you live, and I was getting death threats from this video. My priority was not to win the debate. My priority was to bring this up during the debate, which I did, and then to ask her to take it down afterwards. Winning debate is what I'm going to do next time. But
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. Next time he's going to win. And if he doesn't, he can't say he didn't intend to win because he just said his intention was to win. Okay?
But, Hannah probably isn't there what she's but a troll. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Wayne. All right, guys. She didn't debunk your claims. Think about it. I think she may have debunked one or two of my claims. Maybe. I don't know. Things are confusing right now.
Things are confusing right now. I really don't like Peter at this point. He's said too many destructive things, but every once in a while he'll say something like that again makes me realize the maturity level that he is operating at, which is like teenage level at best. It's so sad.
I do get some stuff wrong. But the main thing she didn't debunk, I think Trump controls the military. I think the Patriots are in control. Good things are going to happen this year. Bad guys are going in jail. She wasn't able to debunk those major things, and that's all that matters. Like, little details.
You didn't provide evidence that any of those things were true, Peter. That's not how the burden of proof works.
You know, like she thought she debunked the whole claim that that Biden is filming Castle Rock, but then Lynn Wood recently said, "Oh, Biden's not in the White House; he's filming Castle Rock." So-
Again, think about this for a second. I debunked his claims by pointing out why his visual references were wrong using pictures. And he says, oh, but this other guy who's a grifter said it's true again, so that means it's gotta be true, right? No, Peter! He's wrong! Lynn Wood is wrong! Lynn Wood couldn't even get an endorsement from Trump himself, and that's one of the reasons he probably lost his election recently. Morok says, I find Peter oddly fascinating. He's such a garbage fire, I can't look away. I know, it's weird. Bellum Guardian says, Peter was literally doing a cope stream and stringing along some poor dude. I bet has never heard of you and just wanted to talk about his own shit. I know, it's so funny, right? This isn't even supposed to be about me.
So this is something that I had said, and Lynn Wood has confirmed it. And Lynn Wood is a defamation lawyer, which means people can sue him if he's wrong, and no one's suing Lynn Wood, which means I was right that Biden is filming in it.
Peter, the bar for defamation is quite high. Who is going to sue him for defamation for claiming that? You would have to prove intentional malice, which would be difficult with Lynn Wood considering his mental condition, which is very poor, to the extent that he got his license suspended in his home state pending him getting a mental health evaluation, which he is refusing to get. It would be pretty fruitless to sue him because, yeah, he's not right, and that would be a defense for him.
In Castle Rock, California, in his studio, fake White House. He has no access to the White House. I was right about that.
No, you're not.
But one of the proofs that I provided about that, she may have debunked it. But is the whole theory wrong? No, because there's still a lot of different pieces of evidence that he is not in the White House and he's filming Castle, California that she hasn't debunked. I agree, Hannah. Oh, Hannah is not a troll. Troll just like the salt for the fun of it. Hannah and Peter have a legitimate difference to try to hash out. That's not trolling. I respect that. All right, guys. Thanks for being here with me.
This turned into a talk about Hannah stream in the last 15 minutes for some reason.
I'm thinking about doing this next Sunday as well. And thank you, Clint, for joining. And it was a good conversation. Yep. Stay safe, guys. And if you can, I do definitely recommend you look into this financial collapse stuff because, inflation is jumping a lot, like the highest it has in a long time. I do think this is concerning. I do think having a minimum of some prepping tools, something to barter with, I don't know, some silver coins, some seeds, not cash at all, but something to barter with because if cash isn't accepted for a month or two, I think it's good to have like a backup plan, at least like a month's supply of food. All right, guys, have a good day. See you later. Thanks for joining me.
See you, Peter.
All right, see you.
Highland W says, despite everything, you might have stumbled into being one of Peter's few friends, as loose as the term fits. Oh, don't say that. That makes me sad. The idea that he would have so few human connections that he would actually consider me a real friend, that's a little sad. Alright, we've been going for almost 4.5 hours. That's probably good, right?